want a war, they don't want a war with big juggernaut, big juggernaut. They don't want a war, they don't want a war with big juggernaut, big juggernaut.
So delighted to be joined by unbeaten heavyweight Joyce. It's been a long time in lockdown, but now back in the ring. You've got to be pretty relieved and happy to be back out.
Yeah, it's been almost a year since I fought last, so it's good that I've got a fight so quick and that I can get in the ring and have some time in the ring before the big fight with Dubois.
And when you were first approached with this idea, not just of taking an interim fight before Dubois, which could be seen as a risk, but also appearing behind closed doors, no fans in attendance, what did you think of the whole concept?
Well, it's going to be a bit weird, and I don't know. I've still got quite a while till the bar fight's scheduled if it happens in October. So it's good to get out there and get off the cobwebs and get back in the ring and get hone the rough edges or whatever.
You've said previously that in an ideal world you'll be training with Ismael Salas again for the Dubois fight. Who have you been training with for this one? How have you managed to keep in shape and get your training done?
Well, I've been training with Cameron Goff doing the strength work and Stephen Broughton for like pads and boxing training. And I've been fortunate enough to use like some private gyms in Stallard and obviously Cam's gym, and I've had some good sparring. I sparred Bakuli last week. I've had Haye in, and sparring's gone really well.
Yeah, we know Cameron Goff well on this channel. He's a long time friend of the group, and obviously we know Steve Broughton as well from way back. He was once an intern at Boxing News when I was there. So he's gone from strength to strength since then. I'm glad one of us has. He was most recently seen working with Derek Chisora, of course. What's he kind of brought to the table? Or is it more just continuing what you've been doing anyways, that you don't want to change too much?
Yeah, it's continuing what I've been doing already. So when I started boxing, being a professional boxer, I started with David Haye, and Ismael Salas was brought in to train David and also the other guys under his promotion in the stable, and Steve was around as well training but the both of us, and he was like kind of learning from Salas, so he knows the particular style what Salas wants, and also we've been Salas has been involved, so we've been talking to him, etc. So he's on board with what's going on.
How much contact have you had with Salas while all this has been going on?
Yeah, just FaceTime and what on the WhatsApp.
Is he frustrated that he can't be here to work with you ahead of this fight?
Yeah, either here or me going down there, because he's got his brand new gym and it's all set up and running and ready to go. You know what I mean?
So you looking on a bit kind of envious, nose pressed up against the window pane,
or the computer screen.
Yeah,
I mean, that's my phone. Yeah, because he was showing me. He was actually doing some training in the lockdown. Saw him on the pads. On the bags for a bit.
Could have been you. Could still be you though. Hopefully ahead of the Dubois fight. You mentioned the sparring you've had with Martin Bakole. Saw kind of picture of you guys afterwards on social media. Just tell us a bit about that sparring and how kind of close was he to the guy you're going to be fighting at BT Studios?
I thought, I rate his boxing technique, and his he's a strong come forward fighter, and he's durable. He's like a tank. So it's great that he came all the way from Scotland to come and spar. I wouldn't say he's that similar to the guy I'm going to fight, Wallisch, but it's definitely great preparation for the fight, because he can bang and he's very good. I thought he was very good, and it was it was a pleasure to have him down to spar with.
So tell us about Michael Wallisch, German. decent start to his career, but seems to have, as he stepped up in class, maybe faltered somewhat. How much do you know about him? What can you tell us?
Just from what I've seen on YouTube with him, with his fights, and he looks good. He's got a high guard, and he's no mug. He's going to be coming to win, come and try and take my scalp, so he can like disrupt the bar fight. So I'm going to have to be, switched on and try and get him out of there as soon as possible.
And he's lost 3 of his last 4 quite early on, but against really good company, the likes of Effie Ajagba, Tony Yoka, and I think the other one was Christian Hammer. So
Yeah.
Do you look at that and try and kind of, you obviously just want to get the win regardless, but is there a level of competition there? Do you look at their results?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be hard for me because it's how weird it's been in quarantine, and I don't know how well he's been training, and so it's going to be a tough one, and especially since I haven't boxed for a whole year. It's I'm gonna have to really pull something out and to have put on a good performance.
Regardless of competition with the other people that have fought Wallisch, what about competition with Daniel Dubois, who you will ultimately fight in October, all fingers crossed, and who is also having a tune-up fight, or we're calling it a tune-up fight, anything can happen, but a tune-up fight in the interim. Is there competition there in terms of who performs better in the tune-up?
Yeah, probably. He's going to aim to get a devastating knockout against Pfeiffer, but Pfeiffer's a good boxer. He's well seasoned. He's fought in 2 Olympics, plus I think over 10 WSB fights. So he's good and he's game and he's ready. So it's going to be one to watch. I'll be interested to see how he gets on.
Did you mix with Pfeiffer at all in the amateurs?
Yeah, I can't remember if I've actually fought him, but I definitely shared quite a few training camps in Germany. So I know how good he is.
What can you tell us about his style and ways in which he might pose Daniel problems?
I mean he's got good boxing ability. He can block, slip, counter, throws good hooks. He's can take a shot, so it should be a good fight.
Are you concerned? Because obviously Dubois is the big fight for you, big money, big prestige. What if he gets knocked off?
I can't see it. I think Dubois got very young and hungry, and he's got the power to finish the job, but it's not going to be easy for him.
Who do you feel has the tougher test in these interim fights, yourself or Daniel?
Well, I don't know. We'll have to see. I think Daniel has got a bit more time before his fight, so he's got a bit more time out of lockdown to really get in the gym. And on the day of my fight, that's when the gym's open officially. So, he's got more time to prepare and there'll be things that have opened up a bit more.
Has it been strange kind of having Dubois as the man you're focused on for so long? The fight was postponed twice, still going ahead in October, but now these interim fights come in, you have to kind of switch tack and suddenly focus on a completely different opponent.
Yeah, I mean, there was talk of the fight for a while now that it was, it's one of the big fights that's on the line, but what was on offer was lucrative, so I decided to there's no other fights better than that around, so I was excited to have such a good fight. And then obviously I went back to Salas, went to train in Vegas, getting ready for it, and everything was going well. And then the virus kicked off and we had to come back, so then it got postponed, and then it got postponed again. So it's now is a good time for it to happen. When things are opening up again, there can be a crowd, because I've seen some things to do, things are opening up, and it should be. It needs to have a crowd, so it's good that it's not going to be. Well, it can't be behind closed doors, so it's good that it's finally happening now.
let's look at the wider context for a moment. The fight with Daniel Dubois, you don't want to look past Wallisch, and I'm guessing you certainly don't want to look past Dubois, but should everything go well and you come through in October, is the winner of that fight virtually on the cusp of a world title shot from the discussions you've had?
Yeah, I've heard Warren say that whoever wins this fight will get a chance to box for a world title. So, but we both got big names, and whoever becomes the winner of the fight will definitely there'll definitely be a lot of fights out there. I mean, there's a lot of fights out there anyway.
Yeah.
For either of us, but it will definitely show who's the best out of the up and coming heavyweights, world champions.
If Warren is in a position to kind of almost guarantee world title shot to the winner, presumably that will come against Tyson Fury because he works with Warren, whereas Anthony Joshua, the other heavyweight title holder, doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Would you feel, having come through Daniel Dubois, if that happens, you'd feel ready to challenge Fury?
Oh, that'd be an ideal fight.
Yeah.
Especially if he wins, especially if he gets all the belts.
Oh, so you want him to fight Joshua first?
Well, yeah, that's what's penciled down, isn't it? But he needs to get the rematch with Wilder, and then I'm game for that.
Belt collector, brilliant. You've sparred Fury, haven't you?
Yeah.
What did that tell you about? I know it's only sparring, but what did that tell you about how a fight between you might go in terms of how your styles mesh together?
Yeah, it'd be a tough fight. It'd be a good fight as well. I mean, Fury's very skillful and elusive, and I think he raises his game in the fight, so it'd be a very difficult fight. But it's that's what I'm in boxing for, to become world champion, and undisputed has a great ring to it.
If Fury wasn't aligned with Frank Warren and you had your pick of the champions, who suits you more? Is it Fury or is it Joshua?
Either, because I've sparred both, but I don't know. I don't know.
Would it mean more personally to you if it was Joshua, just because of all the time you spent together at GB?
Yeah, it'd be like a GB dust up, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
A gold medalist versus silver medalist.
Yeah, well, a lot of people thought yours should have been gold and his should have been silver. So
whichever way you want to look at it.
It could have been the other way around, depending on how you look at it. But yeah, would that mean more? Would that be kind of I'm sure you're friendly with him, but would that be kind of more meaningful in that you've got that personal relationship?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've got I haven't seen or spoke to Joshua face to face for a long time, since I was probably on GB. So, but Fury, on the other hand, I've spoke to him, numerous times in Vegas and Big Bear and LA. So, I guess right now I'm probably closer to Fury because I've actually spoken to him face to face. Like,
how do they compare as characters, as personality types?
Well, Joshua's funny. He's got, he's what I remember of him. He's a good guy, and he's quite funny. He laughs in the gym. He takes his time and that. So I remember me and Fraser would be like in there ready, waiting for sparring, like got gloved up and everything, and then he strolls in like, So yeah, he's quite a funny character, and but yeah, and Fury, yeah, he's always. I mean, I saw him first when he was in Bolton, when he was like well overweight, and he's like kind of coming from like a bit of a bad place. But then obviously I see him in Big Bear, and he's high spirited, and he's quite a character as well. So yeah, but you put that all aside when you're actually going in the ring with someone.
I hope so, because it sounds like you admire both of them, or at least you're on friendly terms with both of them. So I hope you will put that aside and we see the typical juggernaut display.
Yeah, once you get in the ring, like you're both going to be throwing punches at each other, and there's not. You can't be like, oh, here we go, let's tickle you. You know what I mean?
Just looking at the kind of a bit of more of a wider issue, you've grown as a kind of personality, as a professional. When you first turned over, you weren't particularly keen on talking to the press. You may still not be keen, I don't know, but you certainly seem more at ease with it now. Is that something you've worked on or intentionally, or has it just come naturally as time's gone on?
Yeah, I think it's just practice. Like I'm not, I was never like the most vocal person anyway. I tend to be a better listener, and I don't really have too much to say for myself usually. But with practice, like you level up. So I think, but I have had like a bit of media training and stuff over the years at GB and etc. and a bit more. And it's good to learn from David as well. One take, David Haye, who's a great talker as well. So I think you just like learn over time.
Does it bother you when people kind of misunderstand you? Because you're incredibly intelligent. I'm not saying that to kind of, blow smoke up or whatever. But you are, your history tells us that regardless of whether we knew each other. But people sometimes misconstrue your thoughtfulness for being slow. Like you like to ponder a question and analyse it before you answer it. And I don't think everyone understands that. Would you go along with that?
Yeah, because I guess it depends on the person. Because some people can, be good at talking, and then they'll just, they let their mouth run away with them, and then say something stupid that they later regret. But I kind of am conscious with what I'm saying, and sometimes that takes a bit of time for the wheels and the cogs to like come up with something to say. So I just guess it's a bit different.
Well, you don't want to waste words, do you? You seem to me as someone who only wants to say something if it's meaningful, rather than just talking for the sake of talking.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
In that position, as like you said, you've had practice and you've grown with it. What advice, if any, would you give to Daniel Dubois in the same respect? Because he's not the most natural of talkers.
I think like me, he's so talking is not his strong point, and he says talks cheap or whatever. But he has been. I've been quite surprised with him how he's like progressing, and he's talking a lot more and getting more out there. So he's still young. He's only 22, so there's plenty of time for him to learn with all the interviews he's going to get.
Should everything go your way in October, I know I am looking past Wallisch a bit in this interview, but just assume you beat him and you beat Dubois. Do you see him still having a pretty good career? Should he lose to you, can he rebuild from there?
You joking? What, Dubois?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the whole future. He's got the whole. He's only 22. He's got plenty of years ahead of him, and he hasn't really been in those big fights yet. So he's got plenty of time to, and he's right on track to. He's already made a name for himself. Thanks to Frank Warren and Queensbury Promotion, they've built him very well, and he's fought and looked spectacular, knocking out the opponents that he's fought with his power, and he's his decent boxing ability. So he's got plenty of time to get to the top.
Do you think this has shades of David Haye against Cole Thompson? In that Dubois could easily go on and become something great, but at this stage, you're just a bit too much man, a bit too much veteran for him.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that fight, but that's just gone over my head.
David Haye probably doesn't mention it much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was his first defeat. He was hyped up coming out of the amateurs.
Oh yeah, I think I heard about that. Yeah. Basically. Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I mean, I'm not like the I don't know, the bookkeeper in boxing knowledge. I mean, I only started at the age of 22, so I've just kind of got to I know my area where I've experienced, and like obviously the fighters around me at that time.
But I guess what the point I'm trying to make is, do you think experience is going to be one of the key aspects in this fight, both as amateur and pro? Because although he's had more fights, you fought a better opposition. Yeah,
and I think it's that age versus experience again. And I think he's never been in the ring with someone like me, and I perform, and I raise my levels, and I've been there. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see on October 24th.
Do you find it a little crazy that he's with the bookmakers? He's the favourite, because given the people you've both fought, if you look at your resumes side by side, it shouldn't even be close.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got more pressure. I don't have any pressure on me because he's got that pressure to perform. Everyone thinks he's going to win. So, but I'm like the underdog. Imagine that.
Do you find that strange though? Because you're the Olympic silver medalist. You're unbeaten as a pro. You've beaten Bryant Jennings and Stiverne, two names who are better than anyone on Dubois' ledger so far. Do you find it crazy that you're the underdog?
Not really. I mean, the way I guess I don't know. Yeah. Well, once I beat him, then people will realise my worth a bit more.
And make a lot of money.
Chee-chee!
Realise their own worth at the same time. All right, well, it's good to see you doing so well. I'm going to see you at the press conference, of course. I can say tomorrow. This won't go out until tomorrow, but yeah. I'll see you at the press conference 2 hours ago, however that works out. Yeah, right. A bit of time travel going on. But I look forward to seeing you, and good luck against Michael Wallisch, because he's the next man up, and then hopefully we get to see the big Dubois fight in October.
All right.
Indeed. All right, really appreciate it, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah. They don't want a war, they don't want a war with big juggernaut, big juggernaut. They don't want a war, they don't want a war with big juggernaut, big juggernaut. They don't want a war, they don't want a war with big juggernaut, big juggernaut. They don't want a war, they don't want a war with big juggernaut, big